How you doing, Chief?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad.
We're back again.
We're back again.
Third time
in a row.
Yeah,
becoming quite consistent.
It is. Yeah. What does Ricky Gervais call it? The cursed third season.
Oh God, I think we're a long way away from 3 seasons. It's becoming a struggle to do the 3rd episode.
Maybe for you. How's your week been?
It's been all right, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not filled with too much excitement. Pretty similar to last week, really. Still working on training the dog, stopping her from urinating all over the carpet.
Fantastic.
Takeaways over the weekend, bits and pieces of that nature. Yeah.
We did do something very exciting this week. We were invited onto BBC Radio Devon to talk about the Prep Kitchen pod.
We were.
That was very exciting.
Yeah, it was good fun. I was sat in my car in a car park at Ottery St Mary on the blower.
I was sat in my house.
The showbiz lifestyle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Try not to say the word.
Yeah.
Too many times.
I kept going
in my head all the time.
Yeah.
Don't say don't say
I just kept thinking, don't say or bugger, don't say or bugger. And there I was.
But yeah, that was good. That was good.
It was very much enjoyable. They were very accommodating, very welcoming. Hopefully,
they were very lovely.
Hopefully they will get us back on at some point. That'd be quite nice to perhaps do one a month or something and then chat about more things, actual food. I mean, it's an introductory session, isn't it? So they've got to let people know sort of who we are. But I'd much rather talk about food, to be honest, than myself.
Yeah. And we've been invited to do some other things this week, but we'll keep those under our silken berets for the moment.
Oh yes. I could see you. I could see you in a silken beret, actually, Chief.
Yeah, doing my Frank Spencer's.
Lovely. So I think
this is our first attempt at a video cast as well.
Yeah.
So if this works, you will see that spitting tea out there.
You'll see it. So we'll start like we do every week, and we'll get cracking with some questions that we had come in. We had a couple of questions come through. One was from our friend from the previous week, just your average cook on Instagram. He has clarified. He got back in touch. He has clarified that he wasn't trying to mug us off. It was a typo.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Just this once, though.
I think he's being genuine. But his question was best equipment for the home cook, or the best piece of equipment. I think he means that you could maybe invest in. I don't know if you've got anything particular in mind, Chief.
A £2,000 sous vide machine and the £3,000 vat packer.
That'd be good.
Actually, no, I haven't. I'm not a big fan of toys.
I know you're not a gadget.
No, a good knife and a blender and a good chopping board. I hate those little plastic chopping boards.
Don't get
the glass ones.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Get a good wooden chopping board. Something that's going to see you.
A proper butcher's block, almost.
Yeah. When me and my girlfriend moved in here, when we moved into our old house about 7 years ago, we got a very good wooden chopping board, and it's done us very well.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll last us for even longer. But
I would certainly go along with what you say. Invest in a decent knife. I'm not saying you got to go out and buy a blade that's going to cost £200-300. You can pick up some decent ones, for 40, 50, 60 quid. A decent all-round cook's knife. A Victorinox or a Robert Welch or something like that, which you can find in a lot of cook stores.
Yeah, go to a cook shop. If you've got a Nisbet shop near you, go to a Nisbet's.
Yeah, and they'll talk.
Don't go to like the range.
No,
and buy a crappy plastic one.
Yeah,
and sort of touch it and feel it and make sure it's handy for you. I don't like global knives. I don't think they're very comfortable for my hands. I've always used Robert Welch, but you might think global are really comfy. So make sure you touch it and hold it and feel it and see how you're going to.
I think it's the thing that's perhaps overlooked, isn't it? Like, because you're going to be putting a lot of strain, a lot of pressure on your hands, especially if you're chopping an awful lot. So you need that handle to be comfortable. The blade, as long as you look after it and treat it right, and you sharpen it regularly and you put it away properly, that's going to look after itself.
Yeah.
But the handle is the important thing.
Yeah. And get a good steel as well.
And get a good steel, yeah.
It's happened in the past where I've very rarely sent my knives away to get sharpened. And I've borrowed someone's global and it's absolutely ruined my hand.
Yeah.
From just a day's work.
Yeah.
So,
but if you go
I'm not a big fan of them, but
if you go into a proper cook store, they will recommend a type of steel to go with the knife that you've bought in order to sharpen it properly.
Yeah.
I can never remember which way around it is. I think it's the steel has to be harder than the blade, or the blade has to be harder than. So I can't remember which way around it is, but if it's not the right way round that you've got, then you're not going to do much favors to your knife. But that would be the best bit of equipment. And
it's just like buying a bed, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know, you go in, you feel what's good for you, what you like, a hard, a soft, whatever.
And it's going to last.
Just the same.
It's going to last.
Yeah, you want something that's going to see you through for a few years.
But I wouldn't go mad and, like I say, spend a couple of £100, but you can get a decent one for 40, 50, 60 quid, I would say, just an individual knife, and then a blade, 20 to 30 pound on top. Look after it. And like Chief says, a good chopping board. That's what Marco Pierre White used to say, wasn't it? In terms of talking about gadgets, he'd say, just give me a knife. I'm doing the finger as well.
Yeah.
A knife. Just give me a knife and a chopping board. I'm a cook.
Some North stock cubes.
And some North stock cubes. And probably about 10 packets of cigarettes and a litre of coffee. The chef's breakfast, as he used to call it.
Diet Coke he drinks, doesn't he?
Something like that, Chief. Something like that.
And Mr. Rishi.
Yes. Mr. Rishi driving him everywhere. But I hope that's answered your question. Just your average cook. A decent knife. And if you've got a bit more in the pocket, get a decent food processor. You know, something that can do easy, blitz up a easy pesto, or get the little attachments that will just julienne your vegetables for you or something. Just
or one of them.
That much easier.
NutriBullet things.
NutriBullet. Plug in the NutriBullet. That'll do,
Yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get a bit of remuneration for that.
That'd be nice. I could do with a NutriBullet. Next question came from one of my oldest mates back in my hometown, Newquay, Cornwall. Represent N-Town. Say what? I don't know what I'm doing. This came from my old mate Ash Bradshaw, and it wasn't so much as a question, but it was more like a topic of conversation, I suppose. And it was to do with pop-up restaurants down in Newquay, where he is. And I'll get up what he's written to us. There's been a huge increase in sort of like street vendors and food trucks that have been coming down to the area, and he just wants us to sort of discuss if there's any reason, I suppose, behind the increase in this kind of business. And I suppose I can only put it down to a lot of people who are hugely enthusiastic about food have always maybe thought they want to get into the industry for themselves, and they've been either furloughed or they've been let off or they've had loads of spare time, and now for the first time they're able to actually give it a go. And it's been to the huge benefit certainly of down in Newquay, because Ash is saying, just name a few here. We've got El Hucho, which does tacos. Cornish Wild Kitchen has got a varied menu. Did a Penang firecracker chicken curry, which was brilliant, he said.
Yeah, blow your arsehole out.
Blow your arse out, yeah. Craft Works, which do some burgers. He said he only had a bean burger. I don't believe him. He said that was very good. He's got a Thai van by Chester Road. These aren't all on Instagram, but some of them are. And he mentioned also the Boathouse did a great thing this year, just gone, like a 55 yards length of bar, which was taken over, and they just invited all different vendors to come down. So there's been a huge influx in that. I don't know if you've got anything to add to it, Chief, but it's certainly something that it's a business that's on the way up.
It's booming, yeah. I suppose we've got one that comes around the village here. Harry's Kitchen, I think it's called. I suppose if you're a chef and you've been off for this amount of time, it's quite good to sort of get out there and keep going and look to. I saw something on Facebook the other day that he's trying to find somewhere to go in now after the pandemic. As for non-chefs sort of doing it, I suppose it's, if you want to sort of try the industry out, then by all means go for it. It just sort of scares me a little bit that all these non-cooks are coming into cookery slightly, I suppose. But
they're taking all your business.
Nah, well, yeah.
Taking all your custom.
Yeah, that, and, we're obviously highly sort of trained in what we do for the food hygiene and everything else like that. And I'm not saying that these places are dirty.
No, of course not.
I'm just saying that, the odds would say that at least 2 or 3 of them are. And I'm sure that the councils are keeping their eye on what they're doing. But yeah, I suppose it is a good thing to do.
I can certainly see the appeal.
Yeah.
Just in terms of, and I know you were saying about like the skill level, but it's different in a restaurant when you've got, perhaps a larger menu to get in place. If you're doing a food truck and you're just selling burgers or tacos or whatever it might be, you've only got those 3 or 4 things to perfect and to get right. Yeah. And if you've got an aptitude for cookery anyway, and you really want to do it, you're going to make sure that you're putting out the best product you possibly can. So you're taking all the effort and all the time into making sure that what you're putting out is the best it can be. And I'm assuming that people decide that they want to do pizzas or burgers or tacos or fried chicken from a food truck that they've invested in themselves is because they really love eating that type of food.
Well, you'd like to think so.
Well, it makes perfect sense. You can always taste when a chef is in their comfort zone cooking what they're cooking, because they're at ease with it. They know what they're doing.
But there was a lot in Exeter, wasn't there, before any of this? We had that whole street thing, and they were all very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, good on you if you want to do it. Fine.
I don't know if you've seen on Instagram. I've not had the chance to go there because A, I work Fridays and Saturdays, and B, he's always sold out. But it's Jack's Kitchen,
that's the one I was on about. Yeah, Jack's Kitchen,
which is run by, I can't remember the Jack's surname, but I did work with him very briefly. Actually, really nice guy, really really good cook. He's the head chef of Margot in Exeter, and obviously to keep himself occupied and flex his muscles a bit. He's doing, well, I think I've seen a few different things. There's been tacos and other bits and pieces coming out of his food truck called Jack's Kitchen. It all looks really really good.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
it's just a funny time, isn't it? And you've got to keep busy and you've got to keep doing stuff. It's just the extent that you do it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I can't afford to pay ground rent for the council, but
no. But on the subject of sort of like small food outlets or street vendors, we're hoping to, in next week or next couple of weeks, to get a good friend of mine on who I've not spoken to for a long time, but he started his own pizza business essentially as a takeaway or delivery from his own home last year, doing pizzas, and he's doing amazing things, and this was a guy who, I believe I'm getting it right, he'll certainly put me wrong in a couple of weeks' time if I get any of the information wrong. He trained as a chef years ago and then went on and did a few other jobs, photography being one of them most recently, and then just decided, you know what, I love pizza.
Don't we all?
I love making pizza. I love the dough. I love it all. And he started his own company called Artistan Pizza, and it's going great guns. So hopefully we can chat to him in a couple of weeks and almost answer Ash's question perhaps a bit better with a bit of inside information. But personally,
that would be good.
I love it. Seeing
pizza?
Pizza I love. My physique does not lie, Chief.
No.
No, all these different food trucks and everything coming around. I remember when I used to live in London, you've got the Stables markets in Camden and all the food stalls going around there. It's just such a buzz. It's just such a great buzz to have so many different types of cuisine, in one place.
Yeah.
And invariably, because these people are so passionate about what they do, 9 times out of 10, it's pretty bloody good as well.
Well, hopefully, yeah. Hopefully we can go out and try some of these places.
Hopefully I can get down to Newquay and
we can vlog, Chief. We can do a vlog.
Well, I can maybe get down there, and with a bit of luck, I'll get Ash to buy me some lunch, but I'm not holding my breath.
He'll buy you a bean burger.
He'll buy me a bean burger, the tight bastard. I know he will. Yeah. So hopefully we can get down there and vlog it. That'd be nice. I believe brings us on nicely, Chief, to this week's news story. Topical. You've been having a look at a few things. Did we get something sent in?
Well, yeah, we got a little thing sent in from Andy Bennett at the Eagle House Hotel in Launceston.
Andy Bennett.
Shout out to Andy. I've spoken to Andy for years about Sat Bains. When it loads. Sat Bains. So last week we talked about Sat, didn't we? Going from 7 days down to 4.
I think it was a couple of years ago he made that decision.
He did that.
Yeah, and 4 days a week.
This week he's put in a little Instagram post, the evolution. Following this incredible long period of closure necessary to keep us safe, we can at least see the light. Once restrictions have lifted, providing we all play by the rules, we're very excited to reopen and can't wait to see you all eating, drinking and staying with us. We've implemented some new measures to allow us to continue to grow as a creative and proactive business. We've taken the best parts of what lockdown and the curfew has taught us over the last year and have evolved our working methods. From July 2021, the last table booking will be 7 p.m. Wednesday to Friday. excuse me, Saturdays we will be open all day. Oh, pardon me, from 12 noon to 7:45. A benefit of the enforced curfew is an earlier finish time, a huge plus for hospitality. We already operate a 4-day a week, and this will enhance working conditions even more. What's more important than ever now is health and well-being for us, our team, and our guests. The aim to give back valuable time for family and recuperation. Our guests get to dine at an earlier time, a proven healthier way to eat. Very few people want to eat their mains at 11:30. The latest was 12:45.
That's stupid, isn't it?
That's restaurant Sat Bains.
I think personally that's a massive step for a restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, and not you know, it's one of those restaurants that chefs will have definitely, well, I hope so anyway, chefs would have heard of, chefs will recognize, and it is, you know, it is fundamentally one of the best restaurants in the country. It's actually been in the top 100 restaurants in the world.
Yeah.
As recently, I think it's last year. I want to say it was 88, but I don't know. Somewhere around there. But for a restaurant of that standing to take that stance, you just hope that it'll have a knockdown effect, and I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight. I don't think it's going to, but will eventually dribble down to perhaps the arena that you and I cook in, which is not Michelin star. I repeat, not.
Hopefully, but I don't think it will. I think we're stuck with our jobs a lot, really. He introduced 4 days a week 2-3 years ago now, and that hasn't trickled down anywhere. That's just going, oh, that's nice of Sat, isn't it? But we're not seeing any benefits of that, and nowhere else really has taken that on as a thing. You know, the sort of old thing of chefs coming in at 5 and going home at 2 is still a thing.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend that it's not. That's just the way that some places operate. Things have got slightly better for different places now, I suppose. But that's still an issue. And I think that will always be an issue.
Yeah.
That you're working 12, 13 hours a day.
Yeah. I just think in terms of what these restaurants, and when I say these restaurants, I mean the top Michelin star restaurants in this country and all over the world, really. What they always, I suppose, are attempting to do is to push things forward. And it's always from a culinary, dining, eating, drinking experience.
Yeah.
You know, trying to, suppose, expose their guests to things they've never seen before, and you know, that in itself will have a trickle down effect, like I mentioned, cooking techniques, and it will be picked up in some way by people lower down the ladder, perhaps like you and I. But the way in which he's trying to push the industry forward is from a working life balance perspective. And I got some messages back from Andy. We had a little to and fro about this. And I said to him, it's pushing the industry forward in a way that's criminally overlooked. And I think the welfare of staff, especially from the cooking perspective, is overlooked, because the hours in which we do, you wouldn't expect to do it in many other walks of life. And he said it is overlooked, obviously. He doesn't know of any other industry that would expect a member of staff to work 55, 60 hours a week when they're salaried for 40, 45. But in cookery, it's almost normal.
It's very true. Yeah.
I mean, you and I used to experience that from the salary that we were on. I think we were on a 45 hours a week salary, and we were easily going closer to 60. So we used to walk in on a Monday morning, didn't we, and go, "Don't worry, this one's on me."
Yeah.
You know, keep your checkbook in your pocket. Yeah. I'll take care of this. And it is just mental. I mean, I don't know of any other trade where you are working almost 15, 20 hours a week for free.
No. You could almost want to get the big boys to all sit down together and say, look, this is what needs to happen. We're going to cut from 7-day a week or 6-day a week operations down to 4. We're going to do the last orders at whatever time he said there, 7 o'clock. And then I think if a bigger group of them did it, it would put pressure on the rest of the industry to do it. What we're sort of facing is, Sat. We leave him to do the 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And yes, it's good for his team, but financially it's not viable for everywhere else to do, is it? You know,
No.
you've got a little family-run place in the heart of Exeter somewhere. It's not viable for them to say, well, we're going to do 4 days a week and we're going to do, you know, last orders at 7. We've seen it where guests come in at, you know, you finish food at 9 o'clock, they come in at 5:02. They want their meal, you know, and you can't go, I'm sorry, actually, we're closed.
Yeah.
We close at 7. So
Yeah.
the walk-in aspect of it then becomes very sort of annoying for the customer. It's a really difficult one to see both sides of the spectrum, isn't it? Because as much as it's nice for us to finish at 7 o'clock every night, and I'm sure we'd both love to be in time for Coronation Street, it's just hard to do it. And from a business point of view, it's even harder.
Yeah. I suppose I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of his business, but it's probably easier for him to say we can take a bit more time off or we can do a little bit less, because the phone won't stop ringing at his place. I mean, he'll be fully booked at Christmas by the time you've had your first service on the 17th or whatever it is of April.
Yeah.
So,
and he's charging £85, £100 a head for
his spend per head is going to be massive there, and obviously the rooms as well. But I still think it's a step in the right direction. I'm not suggesting for a single second that it's anything that should be made mandatory. I don't want the government to be getting involved saying this is when we all have to stop, because different businesses have different requirements. I just think in terms of what he's done, it's a gesture that, because it's been made by someone like him, is going to be brought to the wider public audience than if you did it down the double locks or if I did it in Ottery, because people don't know who the fuck we are.
No. And this is sort of going back to what we were talking about on the first week, I think, about this seat at the table. The slight worry that I've got with that, if there is a worry, this is it, is who they get in to do that job. Because if it's a government minister, they just elect to do that job, then you may as well not bother having one for a start. And if it's a chef, it's a nice sort of idea to get someone standing up for hospitality, but it's just going to be the logistics of how they go about doing it that is the worry for me, really.
Yeah, I had a little thought. I don't even know how feasible this even is, but to almost have the sort of will of the industry decided on a consensus of those at the top of the profession.
Yeah.
But not just restaurants. I'm talking like pubs, hotels, coffee shops, leisure centres that do catering and all sorts of, every little thing. If you've got your finger in the catering pie, then it needs to have major representatives from each of those sectors to put their heads together and to really battle through. My catch just opened the door behind me. Let yourself in, mate. Yeah, don't worry about it. I lost my train of thought there. Obviously interrupted by a feline. We'll do that to a man on a podcast. But yeah, who decides on who the heads of any given industry are? Who decides who gets the say? Because it's
we're going back to Gordon again here.
Exactly, because it spans so many things. I mean, it's not. I don't know where someone like yourself and myself, although we're poles apart and miles away from the likes of Sat Bains and his restaurant with 2 Michelin stars in Nottingham, or Gordon Ramsay's 3-star in Hospital Road, or whoever else it may be. Although we're miles away from them, we're still trying to get a slice of almost the same pie in a way. We're all impacted by things. So yeah,
we've still got the same problems, haven't we?
Yeah,
that's the thing. It doesn't matter whether you're a 3-star in the Scottish Highlands or a family-run boozer down at Land's End. Everyone's still got the same issues.
Well, it's still the same end game, isn't it? You've got to turn a profit. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, yeah.
It is a business at the end of the day.
I think it's going to be difficult for whoever goes into that job, whether it's someone that's got history in the industry or whether it's an MP, because they're not going to please the other, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, you always like to have somebody who's the head of a certain organisation to at least have, well, more than a rudimentary understanding of what it is they're supposedly leading. So if you've got a minister for education, you want them to at least have an experience at teaching or working within education.
Yeah.
I highly doubt you're going to find a member of parliament who can say that they've got relevant experience within hospitality. I can't imagine any of them have worked more than a weekend job when they were 16 years of age for a bit of pocket money.
Yeah. But it's not like running a lawyer's office or any other business, is it?
So you're not really going to have someone who's if it is a member of parliament elected, you're not really going to have someone there who is from a hospitality background.
No, it's a really difficult thing, and hats off to whoever gets to do that job, because I wouldn't like to do it.
No,
trying to please everybody,
impossible.
Yeah,
it is impossible. But it was certainly that story in itself, and I thank Andy for putting it our way. I'm hoping it could have some kind of an impact, and it'll at least get employers to look a bit more about.
Well, I think it's just a talking point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If we can, well, yeah, but two fat lads from Devon aren't the height of culinary
no, I don't think
expertise,
so, no.
are we?
I can't imagine Sat is sat there going, I want those fat wankers from Prep Kitchen Podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know what that accent was. I don't know what that accent was.
Where's he from?
Oh, I tell you what, man. I don't know all about those kids.
Ant and Dec.
Ant and Dec, like.
Yeah, so thanks for that question, Andy. That's very, very interesting talking point.
Yeah, and if anybody is in the area when they reopen, Andy Bennett is the chef de cuisine at the Eagle House Hotel in Launceston, or as it's pronounced down in Cornwall, Lanson.
He's very good. I've been there. Yeah.
I like his
chums for a while.
Yeah, I've spoken to him only through this particular medium, but looking at his Instagram page, I like the style of his food in terms of how it's presented. It's got that element of fine dining to it, but it looks generous at the same time, if that makes any sense.
It
doesn't look like those measly small portions that you associate with fine dining. It's got a little bit of that swagger about it. But it looks substantial.
And not piled on with potatoes.
Not piled on with spuds everywhere.
No.
So interesting subject. We'll have to see how that one unfolds.
So one thing I know we want to talk about, as we are chefs, is food-related things. And one thing I wanted to sort of bring up this week was cheap cuts. Cheap cuts.
And you're not talking about going to a dodgy high street barbers, are you?
No.
Where you get your barnet sorted.
Well, this is a disgrace, isn't it? We won't go into that. We love using cheap cuts. We've used them for a myriad of jobs we've worked in, I know. Have you got some favourites?
Well, there's ones that I go back to and try and utilise as much as I can. Things like beef cheeks, like pork cheeks, basically any kind of cheek from any animal is a cheap cut. Oxtail still really cheap. Lamb belly or lamb breast, it might be called. That's basically what we mean by cheaper cuts, is the ones that just go into your butchers and just have a little look around and always ask them what to do with it. But
I think chefs and the home cooks probably scared of using them. Would you say?
I think it's a lot of things.
People don't know what to do with them anymore.
They don't know what to do with them, I think. And there's a golden rule that I was told when you look at the anatomy of an animal, it's understanding whereabouts on the animal certain cuts come from.
Yeah,
that obviously is a huge start. But if it does the most work or carries the most weight, generally, as a rule, those are the cuts that take longer, slower cooking. So they suit things like braising or slow roasting or just simply, poaching in a nice flavored stock, depending on what you want to do with it, obviously. So things like cheeks, you think of a cheeks on a pig or on a cow, they're eating all day in the field. So the muscle's really, really tough.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of slow cooking in order to break down those fibers. But more often than not with these cheaper cuts, once they are cooked properly and they are braised down, they far outweigh the more expensive cuts in terms of flavour.
I think so. I think they're better all around. The cheaper cuts. I always try and stick them on the menu because they're so flavourful.
Yeah, well, you're in the process of writing several menus, aren't you?
Yeah, but I think it's difficult I think it's difficult for customers though. If you put something like a beef cheek on a menu, unless you're a foodie, you're not going to order that. Or even offal, really. I suppose liver you can get away with. People will order liver.
Kidneys.
Kidneys, yeah. But I think the more you start going up the body, the less people are likely to eat them. Yeah. So lungs, hearts,
sweetbreads.
Sweetbreads, yeah.
You see them in fine dining restaurants, and they actually are quite fashionable, and they have been for quite a number of years actually, in really high-end restaurants. But you don't see them on. I mean, I wouldn't put sweetbreads on the menu where I work because they wouldn't go for them.
No, I wouldn't.
And I'm sure you wouldn't do them down in the double locks either. But if you were to perhaps pick a favourite cheap cut and what to do with it, what do you reckon that would be?
I'd probably have to use a cheek, beef. Just braise it down. A really nice ragu.
Yeah. So what will be so for those that don't know what that means, in terms of the braising, those that are listening that aren't, shall we say, culinarily inclined? What would be your method for braising down a beef cheek? And when you say braise, what exactly do you mean?
So seal them off in the pan, get them nice and brown and golden. Salt and pepper, and then in a pan with a mirepoix, so carrots, onions, celeries, thyme, any hard herb really, in there with some red wine and a bit of tomato paste, and just stock or water, whatever you've got.
Beef stock.
Or chicken stock. It's fine.
Chicken stock,
because they're so flavorful, the beef cheeks. Chicken stock's fine, because you won't be able to taste it anyway, really, once it's done. And then once that's come out of the oven, low and slow in the oven. So 150, 160 for a couple of hours. Take it out. Then you can pick them down, shred them down.
Shred the meat off,
Yeah, and then reduce the liquor.
Yeah, and don't be alarmed if you do, sorry to jump in, if you do cook beef cheeks, for example, at home, you want to give it a go. Don't be surprised at how much they shrink. They do shrink down quite a lot. So if you are going to, for example, turn it into something like a bourguignon, like a beef bourguignon, don't cut them too small, because they will shrink a lot in the pan. And personally myself, I like in a braise of that nature, I like larger cuts of meat. I often do a bourguignon with brisket and just cut it nice and thick. So you're looking at a couple of inches squared piece, because again, that shrinks down quite a lot.
Yeah. But I use it in all sort of braises now, the cheek. So pies, I'd use a beef cheek for. If I'm making a stew of any sort, I'll use the beef cheek. I just like the flavour. It's a more robust. It's almost slightly gamey, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once you've cooked it.
Yeah.
But not, like a pigeon would be gamey.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. But
it's a stronger flavour.
Yeah. It's almost a more beefy beef.
Yeah.
If that can be possible. More beefy beef. But don't think about getting hold of something like a beef cheek and cutting it up and giving it a quick pan fry, because it will just be leather. Those sorts of things, like I said, if it carries more weight or it does more work, invariably, I can't think of any. Usually
those cheaper sort of cuts do need the longer cooking.
Yeah.
I know pork belly for years was a cheap cut.
Yeah.
But not so anymore, because every Tom, Dick and Harry's got it on the menu now, I think. Yeah.
It's just more fashionable. But it's a hugely versatile ingredient, which is why chefs love using pork belly. It really is. It's full of flavour, especially if the quality of the pork is good. Good layer of fat. Then there's just it's like bacon is what they call like a flavour bomb. And pork belly, I mean, if you're cooking things like lentils or beans or bits and pieces like that, and you've got them in your, in the water with some salt and pepper and some vegetables and aromats, you often put a strip of smoked pork belly in there just to add some more flavour. Not for vegetarians, obviously, wouldn't do that. But yeah, beef cheeks. Sure. I think that's a great example. If anyone out there listening and they want to pick up some from the butchers, you can always ask them. They probably have them. They probably have them frozen, to be honest. If it's just your normal high street butchers, they might have a few put in the freezer, and they're not expensive at all. You're talking a couple of pounds per kilo, aren't you?
Yeah.
So
but do try them. And if you do try them and you need any help with the cooking or anything, you can email us at prepkitchenpod@gmail.com. Or
Yeah.
ping us over a little message on Instagram and we'll help you out.
Yeah. I've got a little bit of a, I suppose, like a left field one in talks of like cheap cuts. Yeah, and I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine a couple of weeks back, and he was saying about when his dad goes to the fish market in Petersfield every week. And this is my friend Phil Javins. I had a good chat with him. Big fan of the podcast. He was saying that his dad always buys the same stuff from the fish market. He'd just go there and just buy like 4 fillets of mackerel, and that's it. But in terms of cheap and sustainable and something that we all should be buying, even more so now with the European restrictions on importing shellfish from this country, is mussels. Mussels are cheap and they are hugely versatile. They're quick to cook. They're easy to cook because they tell you when they're cooked. You know, when it's closed, it's not. When it's open, it's cooked. And you can do it in such a myriad forms. I mean, you can go the classic bouille marinière with, you know, some garlic and cream and parsley. You can add coconut milk with chilies and limes and make it all Asian inspired. If you want, you can use cider instead of white wine, put in some smoked bacon and, you know, part cooked chunky vegetables in there. Just dip it in with a bit of bread, especially with the summer coming around. I was having a little look on the Cornish Fishmongers website, which obviously deliver down in Cornwall, but I'm sure further afield as well. They deliver 7 days a week. You can get them for about £6 a kilo. The kilo will feed, I would say, anywhere from 3 very hungry people to 4, maybe even stretch to 5 smaller portions for £6.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're around by us in sort of Exeter, teen fish, shellfish, they're very good.
Yeah.
So if you can get some from them, then you.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just think they're so flavorful, and they are so simple to cook. They really are. I mean, I don't know if people at home listening to this haven't cooked mussels, they've thought about it. Definitely give it a go. They are so easy to cook.
Don't buy those vac pack ones.
No, don't buy any frozen or vac packed. Just go to your fishmongers. They'll even have them on the fishmonger stalls in some supermarkets, I'm pretty sure. And they'll all be cleaned. They'll all be ready to go. If you get the mussels and you take them home and you're about to cook them, if they're open, just give them a little tap 2 or 3 times, nice and firm on the surface. If they start to gently close, it means they're all good. If they don't close, discard them, get rid of them.
They're dead.
They're dead. You don't want to eat them when they're dead because they'll make you very sick or even very dead yourself. So get a really nice hot pan. You know, wait for it to almost be smoking. It needs to be really, really hot. Chuck the mussels in after you've given them a quick rinse. Chuck them in. Put in a splash of white wine or even some nice West Country cider if you want. Whatever you think is going to go well with it. Put a lid on. We used to
do them with beer at the hotel, didn't we?
We did, did them with beer. Yeah, do them all sorts of things. Put a lid on, give them a nice shake, leave them for a minute and a half. Lift the lid, see if they're starting to open, which by this time they will be. Put the lid back on, shake them a bit more, and then once they're all open, strain them out. Obviously, save all the juice, and then you can add what you want from there: bit of cream, bit of butter, loads of chopped fresh herbs, loads of chopped chili, whatever you like. Some bacon you can throw in there that's already cooked, obviously, and just mop it up with a nice bit of crusty bread and have yourself a beer or a glass of white wine bay. It's handsome.
Or the cider.
Is there cider, mate? But it is one of my favourite shellfish mussels. Cheap, delicious. Can't get enough of them. I know not technically a cut, but who cares?
It's our podcast. We can say what we want.
We can say what we
if
like.
you don't like that. I just want to bring this up, Chief. Now we've got a troll.
We've got a troll.
Yeah, I did send you this the other day, but
yes,
just for the dear listeners. And if anybody knows this guy, please do ask him to get in touch because I'd be interested to speak to him. I might have deleted it now. What was his name? Shane
something.
Yeah. So we're obviously advertising the podcast in all sorts of places at the moment, just trying to get the listenership up.
Of course.
And I put it on a chef's group recently, and this guy Shane said, "Sounds very boring."
Yeah. Thank you for the support.
So I commented, "Thanks for the support." Yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to find his thing. Where is he?
I just find it very strange. I mean, I'm not upset by it. I don't know the guy.
No. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Shane Clark. So if you know
Shane Clark,
if you know Chef Shane Clark, please do get him to get in touch with us, because we would love to have him on and have a chat about this boring podcast.
well, hopefully he can give a little bit of insight on what we need to do in order to make ourselves more exciting for the everyday listener. I mean, I'm sure he's holding on to many, many pearls of wisdom, which, if we ask nicely enough, he may bestow onto us in order to take this podcast to the next level. But I just find it really strange, like just a pointless little comment to make, isn't it, to be fair? We just simply said, listen, guys, we started this podcast. If you want to give it a listen, it'd be great. You know, and you just put, that sounds boring. It's like, well, if you don't like it, just don't listen.
Just leave it alone, don't it?
Just leave it alone.
People just love to have it. And I always find, a few years ago now, I was on a few of these Facebook groups and I sort of deleted them because I found them so toxic. Yeah. The chefs on there are so toxic that I was just like, I can't be bothered to deal with this all the time. Yeah. You get a young sort of apprentice chef put their plates of food on there, asking for a bit of constructive criticism, which is what everybody's asking for all the time. And you just get that shit. And you're like, what are we achieving here?
Yeah.
Like, what are you achieving by saying that to them? So yeah, if anyone does know Shane Clark, tell him to get in touch, because we'd love to get him on for a chat.
It would be great.
It would be good.
I mean, that is genuine. And that is genuine. I mean, I'm sure he's a stand-up guy in every other aspect of his life, and I'm sure he's a good cook as well. So why not just come on and have a little conversation with us? It'll be nice.
Yeah.
We're not going to jump down his throat and call him all sorts of names. The idea of this podcast, well, we might do. You might. The idea behind this podcast is all about trying to be as supportive to anyone and anything as possible as we can. Like we said, bit of a plug, as we said on BBC Radio Devon the other day. I mean, we almost want it to be like a platform where if there's any individuals who want to shout about something or want us to help put the word out. I mean, I'm not saying we reach millions of people. We hardly yet. I would imagine we struggle to reach millions of atoms, but we're just going to try and do our bit. So thanks for the support, those who are supporting. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, and if you are an arsehole to people on these chefs groups, just don't be. It's not very nice.
No.
You were like it once. We were all there.
We were all shit, and some of us still are.
Yeah. So I'm looking at you.
I'm looking at myself. But anyway, that being said, we're going to go on to one of my favourite parts. Well, it's become one of my favourite parts of this podcast,
has it?
Chief.
That's
it has,
very kind.
Because I don't know what you're going to do, and I like the surprise.
I thought you were going to change up the schedule then and put one of your bits in.
No. It's time for Paul Brinicombe's book review.
Yeah. Yes. Ed, if you are when you listen to this, I haven't got a funny little effect over my voice yet. So it's time for Paul's book review. And then if you could just edit, and we'll be cool. So this week, and this will work now because we're trying to do Videocast, so people will be able to see what I'm choosing. It's Black Axel Mangle. It's by Lee, whatever you can see that. Lee Tiernan. Probably butchered that name.
Lee Tiernan.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, Black Axe Mangle.
Black Axe Mangle. I'm going to read from the back. It's one of London's most loved cult restaurants. Chef Lee Tiernan's Black Axe Mangle is a sensual riot, combining innovative open-fire cooking and underused ingredients with a bold aesthetic influenced by his love of music and skate culture. This, the London restaurant's first cookbook, brings together Tiernan's signature recipes, including foie gras and blackberry donuts, squid ink flatbreads with smoked cod's roe, and shrimp-encrusted pigtails, along with step-by-step instructions for the three fundamentals of Black Axe Mangle's cooking: bread, smoking, and grilling.
Excellent. Is there any particular favourite recipes you've got from?
I've got them marked out.
Oh, you champion.
I thought this would be a perfect book for this week's cheap cuts, because there's plenty of ideas in this for those. Just going on to your scallops there, mussels there, Chief.
Mm-hmm.
Smoked mussels.
Smoked mussels.
Yeah, these look very nice. I haven't cooked anything out of this yet. It's probably not a very good reviewer, but it smells like lovely. So smoked mussels. And something that we've been talking about sort of the last couple of weeks is taking chefs' recipes and improving them, or using them for influence. That's an old scratch card. That's a winner. So I need to go and get that one cashed in. A chef that we are, in love with is Jeremy Lee. There he is. And Jeremy Lee has got a famous dish. It's the smoked eel sandwich.
Smoked eel sandwich, which came about, if I'm not mistaken, by accident, wasn't it? An over-ordering of
the
bread
eel,
or smoked eel?
Yeah, the eel or something, yeah, just to use it up. And now it's his sort of signature dish.
Yeah.
So Lee has sort of taken his inspiration from Jeremy Lee's smoked eel sandwich, and we've got a smoked eel and horseradish squid ink steamed bun. There's no picture of this one, unfortunately, but
sounds delicious.
So he's taken the idea of Jeremy Lee's squid ink sandwich, smoked eel sandwich, and he's reinvented it for his purpose, which sounds absolutely delicious. I can't wait to start cooking out of this book. And as it says on the back, there are little sort of pages of things for breaking down rabbit or hares.
Oh, excellent. That is actually also another, going back to the cheap cuts one. I mean, I saw it in the butcher shop window a couple of weeks back, and there was two whole rabbits in the window, and I think there was like £3.50 or something like that.
Yeah, very underused rabbit.
Two whole rabbits. I mean, I know some people get put off by rabbit, but you know, it really is tasty. And like we say,
very tasty.
If you get the butcher to do the work for you, you know, he'll take the loins off, which you can, you know, quickly sort of pan fry and roast, and the legs, which will need a bit of braising as we used earlier on, but you can treat them like chicken legs. You can just roast them slowly, or, you know, whatever you want. But rabbit.
And if you are an 18-year-old boy, you can pause this here and do with that what you will.
Oh, are they donuts?
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean that's a win-win as far as a cookbook goes, giving you tips on how to break down and butcher game like rabbit, but also 2 bits of stuff covered in donuts.
Fantastic. So it's Black Axe Mangle. It's on Amazon at the moment for 17 quid or something. It looks very good. I haven't used it yet, but I look forward to digging in. I'm
sure you'll be looking through that book whilst writing your menus for the double locks, Chief. I think there'll probably be
there's a whole little sort of flatbread bit in the back.
Nice little bits and pieces in there for you to take inspiration from.
Couple of fellas wearing bras on their head.
Well,
so
that's almost like you and I at this precise moment.
Yeah, couple of tits. So he did used to work at St. John. If you're any sort of foodie, St. John in London is a massive restaurant that uses cheap cuts and things like that. So
nose to tail eating, isn't it?
Nose to tail eating. Yeah.
It's one of those destination restaurants that, as a chef, and I've yet to go there, but you've got to get there.
Maybe we could vlog going there as well.
I want to go there and eat some bone marrow on toast with a parsley salad.
Yeah, sounds delicious. There you go.
What we got there, Chief? Pressed octopus and Szechuan vinaigrette.
That's it. So I look forward to using this one. If you have got any cookbooks you would like me to review, chances are I more than likely have them. And if not, I can get them. Just email us at prepkitchenpod@gmail.com or send us a little message on Instagram at prepkitchenpodcast, and I will look at those.
Good stuff there, Chief. That's actually a new one on me. I've not heard of that book.
No. I'd heard of the restaurant vaguely, BAM, but I didn't realise they'd released a book only October last year or something, so it's quite a new one.
Was that a birthday present, was it?
It was a birthday present from me to me.
Oh, happy birthday to
you. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, very good. I'll have to get hold of that one myself. It leads us on to this week's
Challenge Chief.
Oh, I can almost hear it ringing in my ears.
Oh, ringing in your ears. So we've had, over the last couple of weeks, we've had flat-packed furniture and Scandinavian food. Last week we had Japanese ingredients or famous Japanese sports.
I did get a message from friend of the podcast, John
Jackson.
who said you are not allowed to say easy Japanesey.
I'm not allowed to say it.
No, Japanesey isn't a politically correct word.
Well, if I'm more than happy to take on board any criticism, and what John can do, I'm sure he's got loads of time on his hands because I think he's unemployed. Is he can send me a letter.
A letter.
A letter.
Second class.
Second class. He ain't got the money for a first class, has he? A second class letter, or we can just email, with references or citations rather, as to under what authority the term "easy Japanese" is a derogatory term.
Yeah.
If he wants.
I'm sure he will. Yeah.
I'm sure he will.
Or
But
we'll
anyway,
never hear from him again.
We'll never hear from him. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. We love you, really, John. I like John. He's good. He's a nice guy.
He's palatable.
He's palatable. So
in
this
very,
week,
very small doses.
This week, Challenge Chief, we have got obscure names for shapes of pasta or Italian mob families. So you've got to tell me whether it's an obscure shape of pasta or the name of an American Italian mob family.
Yeah, and if they are listening, the horse's head in the bed thing, it's quite old hat now. Think of something else.
Yes. Right. Are you ready?
Yeah. I've got a slight feeling I might know this week, but I'm sure you will throw in some curveballs.
You are a knowledgeable guy, which is why it's a challenge. It's a challenge to catch you out. So, number one, let's go with Campanelli or Campanelle. I'll spell it for you because, I'm helpful. Campannelle. Campanelle.
I think that is a... Oh, God, they all sound the same now.
That's the game. There's no time limit.
I'm going to say that is a pasta.
Oh, it is in fact a pasta chief. Well done. It's labelled as the perfect mix between a twist, a tube, and a shell.
Oh,
so make of that what you will. I think it's like a little cone which sort of comes out, and it's got a little twist, and it's slightly curved. So it's got all three of them in there. I've never seen it.
Before we carry on,
there is literally thousands to choose from.
Campanelli.
Right. Number.
Oh, here we go. Look.
Go on. You got it.
Yeah, this is an interactive podcast.
It is. Oh, there you go. A little tube with a twist. Campanelli.
I'm going to turn my phone off now and put it down there, so people know I'm not cheating.
Super. Number two. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right. Mafaldine. 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 Or Mafaldine.
I think that is a mob family.
You think the Mafaldines were responsible for some terrible crimes?
Yeah.
Across
you come in here.
You come in here and eat my Campanelli. You piece of shit. Sad to say, Chief, that Mafaldine is actually a shape of pasta.
Is it? What does that one look like?
Apparently, it's similar to the well-known tagliatelle or linguine pasta shapes, except they have little ridges on the outsides. But if you do come across it, use it for the same sort of things that you would either a tagliatelle or a linguine.
Yeah.
So like meaty based sauces, ragu.
Pick up the sauce a bit better.
Exactly, with the little ridges on there. It's probably even better. Yeah. It's probably even better. I don't know why it's not more mainstream.
Spaghetti and stuff just slides off, doesn't it? The sauce.
It does. Right, number three. Giancana. Giancana. Giancana.
I think just by the laws of probability, this will be a mob family.
You'd be absolutely correct, Chief.
Thank you.
The head of the Giancana family, I thought this was quite apt, was assassinated in Oak Park, Illinois, I think in the late 1950s, at his own home whilst he was cooking dinner.
There you go.
So maybe he was...
Just like Mama used to make.
Just like a Mama used to make. So maybe he was just about to serve up his Mafaldine alla carne, and then he got his head blown off. Who knows?
Yeah.
I have to do a bit more information on that. Number four, Again, pronunciation, not sure. I'm not Italian. Lucchese. 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 Lucchese.
It sounds like it should be a mob name. That.
Mm.
Yeah. Mr. Lucchese.
I've come to make you an offer you can't refuse.
You can't refuse.
You reckon Lucchese? Mob?
You pester-looking bastard. I'm going to say mob, yeah.
You're going to say mob again. You're absolutely right. Apparently, the main character, Anthony Soprano, in the hit television show The Sopranos, was loosely based on a Lucchese family mobster called Michael Tacchetta.
He was also a fat bastard.
He was also a fat bastard.
Because Tony Soprano is a fat bastard.
Tony Soprano, he's dead in real life, isn't he? James Gandolfini.
I don't know.
He's gone, yeah. And finally...
Eating too much pasta.
Too much. There's only so much Campanelli. One man can eat. The final one, Genovese. Genovese. Genovese.
I am going to say pasta.
You're going to say pasta?
Yeah, because I think I've heard of it, but I probably haven't now.
Well,
when I was a kid, I used to like mob programs, so we're sort of blurring the lines of what I know here.
Okay, I'm with you. Genovese is a mob family.
Bastard.
Yeah. In 1958, I haven't got his first name here. 1958, Mr. Genovese, head of the Genovese mob, went to prison for possessing and distributing narcotics, and he died of a heart attack in Missouri 11 years later in 1969. So that was this week's Challenge Chief, and I think you did pretty good again. Another 3 out of 5, was it not?
I've got no idea.
Yeah,
I wasn't keeping score.
You got Lucchese, you got Giancana, and you got Maffaldine.
3 out of 5. Every week I'm hitting the 3 out of 5.
So 9 out of 15.
Yeah.
Overall.
So not bad.
Pretty good, mate. I'm no mathematician, but it's over halfway.
What a treat.
What a treat. Well, good job, mate. That was Challenge Chief for this week. And you smashed it.
Yeah.
Smashed it out of the park, mate. Is there any particular subjects you think maybe I would have a chance of completely bamboozling you with?
No.
No.
Completely, absolutely doing me over.
Just doing you in.
Probably Russian things.
Russian things.
Anything from that sort of Russian-y, Eastern European style, I think.
I'm not quite sure Eastern European-y is a acceptable turn of phrase. I'll have to ask John Jackson if we can get away with Eastern European-y.
I'll text him now.
That might upset a few people. Oh, well. I'll bear that in mind for next week, see if I can do something slightly more Russian.
Yeah, Russian, I think. Yeah.
Russian.
And I've said that for a reason. I want to hear you struggle saying Russian words.
Well, I thought I handled the Italian not too bad, but you tell me if I can do it or not. Are we going to get in trouble for this? I don't even know.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
are we?
Yeah, the Italian community is going to be up in arms.
Oh God!
But all the people that you spoke about are dead. So,
well, yeah, they ain't going to come knocking at my door, are they?
They don't knock.
No, they don't. They let themselves in.
Yeah. Hey, Fat Al, kick the bastard's dying.
Oh, good grief! Right, steamrolling through it this week, Chief. Absolutely steamrolling through it this week.
We are,
and it now brings us on to, I don't know if this is a sore subject for you or not. It's the ingredient challenge. Now, upon listening to this one, we would have had a result for one.
Yeah.
As of yet, we don't know the result for the second. But by the time this goes out...
You've uploaded today.
I've uploaded today. But by the time this one goes out, people would have seen the results for 1 and 2. It's currently 1-0 to me.
It is, yeah.
With the cauliflower cheese tart. But both dishes I thought looked good.
Well, I'm just trying to be a bit more accessible to the average cook. You're obviously trying to...
I'm just showing off, aren't I? Yeah.
Showing off, yeah.
Just showing off. That's just I've got a trumpet and no one else is going to play it for me, Chief. That's how it works.
No one wants to play it.
Nobody wants to play my trumpet, metaphorically or literally. So we had mango last week, so I uploaded my mango dish. You've got yours to come.
I'll be doing it tomorrow or
Yeah,
Wednesday.
How did you
Tuesday.
How did you find the ideas for that in particular? Was it easy to come up with something mango or?
Just fruits we had actually.
Yeah.
Just thought of fruits, and then the mango is a little wild card I threw in there. I'm quite glad you went for that.
Yeah, but you had an idea in mind pretty quick because I struggled a bit. I did. Yeah, I didn't struggle for ideas. I struggled for what to actually settle on. If that makes any sense.
Well, it's gone out now, and you've uploaded yours, so I was given a recipe which I've given to you a couple of months ago with a mango in there.
Yes.
So my mind went straight to that one.
Bang. Yes. And that's going to be authentic as well.
It will be an authentic.
I might be in trouble this week then.
Nah, hopefully.
Hopefully. Is it going to be one apiece, or am I going to go two to the good? That's what we want to know. But this week it's your chance to choose, Chief. So again, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah.
I've got the ingredients written down in front of me on my phone.
So
I'm not going to show you.
4 the first week, didn't I? And then you went for 3 last week, I think.
I went for 1.
Did you?
I went number 1. I think you.
I'm going to go right. I'm going to go right down the other end then and go for 5.
Ooh.
Ed, cut this bit and we'll go again.
No. Cutting here. You have steamrolled straight into a hornet's nest there, Chief.
Ah, shit.
You steamed right into a hornet's nest there. You picked 5.
And
5 is coffee.
That's not too bad.
See?
That's not too bad. I like coffee.
So I know you like coffee.
And mug off. That's what I'm going to do.
It's going to do.
Just a mug of coffee.
You're going to do me a cold brew.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a...
No, just instant.
Yeah. Instant.
Yeah.
Not even worth the V20 pour over or anything like that.
Absolutely not.
Cold brew shit.
No.
So yeah, I thought that was an interesting one to throw in actually, because we've had actual, what you call tangible ingredients, but certainly from a cooking perspective, coffee, I think it's a great ingredient.
Yeah. We did put out on Instagram today about ingredients.
Yes.
Just try and get people involved in what we're picking.
Yeah.
Because obviously no one's getting involved with making it. So we've got to get them involved somehow, Chief.
Well, hopefully.
So we're getting a few answers through. But again, if you've got any ideas for any ingredients you'd like to see us trying to cook with, the Instagram or the email.
That's the best way. I mean, that's what it's all about. I'm not saying you've got to break the bank and go out and, buy all the ingredients to go along with it. Like we said, first week cauliflower, you could have just, we had one come through, and that was our mate Jay at Artie Stamp Pizza made some little cauliflower and garlic like bonbons to go with his pizza for dinner that night.
They look very nice. I'm going to have to get the recipe off them for them when we
they did look good. But if anybody wants to have a crack, it's like you said, it's not those Facebook pages that you're familiar with, Chief, where we're going to sit there and go, it's all about just getting stuck in.
We'll give you a repost.
We'll give you a repost.
Yeah.
It's an interactive podcast. So, I'm looking forward to that one. I think coffee is a great ingredient. Great choice. I know what you're going to do, but I'm not going to say. It's your predictable.
What am I going to do?
I'm not saying.
All right.
But the second you show me, I'm going to be like, I knew it.
Well, that's convenient then, isn't it?
It is convenient.
Yeah.
It is convenient. It works out for me win-win. That's it for this week, Chief.
Another one in the bag.
What
a treat.
What have we covered? We've had some questions from Just Your Average Cook and my good friend Ash Bradshaw talking about pop-ups in the pandemic. We've spoken about Sat Bains and his operating hours and how that might, perhaps revolutionise the way we work, courtesy of Andy Bennett, the Eagle House Hotel in Lanston.
Yeah, go and check him out on Instagram.
You've spoken about some cheap cuts of meat. Beef cheek.
I have.
I've spoken about some other mussels, but of the shellfish variety. We've had a book review. We've had questions.
Yeah, where is it?
We've had ingredients challenge. This has been action-packed. It's been like
oh God.
It's been like an obscure 1990s Jean-Claude Van Damme beat-em-up. It's just carried on.
I was trying to think of one then, but
blow after blow after blow. It's just been it's been mega. Right, Chief. Thank you very much for your company, as always, my friend.
Thank you.
No worries. I look forward to seeing what you do ingredient challenge-wise.
Yeah.
And also, I think next week we're definitely going to talk to you about menus.
Once again, thanks everyone for listening. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button down there somewhere to never miss an episode. Push the little bell as well.
Yeah.
And give it a like and leave a comment.
Anything. You can even just say it's boring.
Yeah.
It has been known.
You're Shane Clark. Search deep inside for your inner Shane Clark.
Yeah, you can do it.
Comment saying, this is boring. Actually, I want you all to do that. I want you all to go down there and comment, this is boring. Just for a laugh. And if you're listening on Spotify or any of the other Spotify podcast apps, don't forget to follow and like and all the rest of that stuff.
Smashing stuff.
And that's it. Another one done.
Lovely job, mate. Another one in the bag. I will see you.
Fantastic.
Same time next week.
Yes.
Look forward to it, mate. You have a good week, yeah?
See you later.
Sayonara.